The project for today is to fix that bookshelf over there. I built it a couple of months ago, but it is crooked and unstable and it needs a little bit of attention. I have a number of trays that I'm going to use so that I can start to clean off this bookcase. I also have some other baskets. In order to just get everything off, we're going to try to fix it in this room. I'm also going to clean off all of the books that I just set up for kind of preparing for one of our main lesson blocks. And then we're going to remove the shelves. The shelves are just in there on metal pegs, shelf holders. And instead of making them adjustable, we're just going to glue them in. We're going to use a nail gun. We're also going to keep the back open. There is no backing. There is no stability on the back, which I know is not a good idea because it will make it less stable. But I'm hoping that with all of the other fixes that we do, that it's going to be okay. Let me just show you how wobbly this is at the moment. If I just push on it a little bit, not good at all. All right, it's not good at all. And the shelves, even though I wanted them to be adjustable, that's not working out very well because I'm actually not adjusting them once I got them where I wanted. It just wasn't worth it to try to adjust them. So I'm going to figure out how tall I want each of these spaces, because there are some spaces that I want more narrow. There are baskets that I need a little bit more space. These shelves over here are clearly crooked. It's bowing up on one side. We just really need to give this a lot of attention so that it is more user-friendly. Right now, I'm afraid to move things in and out because I just don't feel like it's stable enough. All right, first thing we're going to do is start to clear off the entire top part. I do want to take some photographs so that I can rearrange this kind of similarly. I know it's gotten really packed on with a lot of things. It's so beautiful, it brings me so much joy, but it needs to get cleared off.
I delayed doing this project for so long because I knew that it was going to be such a headache to adjust and fix, and sure enough it was. And in the end, while it looks good from afar, it's certainly not very neat or well done up close. Like, you can see a lot of problems up close. Now, I did make this so that it fit right under the windowsill, so it fits perfectly for my space, and even the number of shelves is just right for the materials that I want to store here. Now, it's not my first bookcase that I've made. I did have one in this space prior to our homeschool renovation. I did end up giving that to my sister, and that was very basically put together. And once again, it suited my needs perfectly. This time around, I am removing the shelves from the shelf pegs and realizing that if I'm not going to have a backing on my bookcase, then making adjustable shelves is not going to be the best construction for my very simplistic bookshelves. But also the way that I fix this with a nail gun and glue is also not the best idea either. And because it is pretty basic, I am keeping the things on the shelves pretty lightweight, and anything that is really heavy is going on the very bottom shelf. So it's time to clean and vacuum out and just give everything a good wipe down because it has collected quite a bit of dust. And now that everything is out, it's time to break apart all of the work that I did. This was kind of sad, and I was worried that I was actually going to literally break it apart and not have it be fixable. And that was the case. So I couldn't remove the unit entirely. I had to work within the outer construction of it because it was glued and I did have the nails in it. So after I filled the holes and I marked off with a pencil where I wanted to put the new shelves, then I had the difficult challenge of putting in the shelves and trying to nail them in. It was really challenging, and this is because I could not take the entire unit apart. So I'm adding some wood glue to each shelf, and this was so challenging because I needed to make sure that it was perfectly level and that it matched up with the lines. And I ended up getting glue everywhere. It wouldn't go in properly. And so here's after several hours. It looks great from this angle, but it's several hours of a lot of work and a lot of mess that you can't really see once it's done. Now it's time to add in the nails, and I had to make sure that I lined it up perfectly because this wood is only a 1/2 inch and has a very thin veneer, and if I did not do it perfectly, and many times I didn't, it would split the wood and go above or below the shelf. It was such a hassle. But this was the easiest way and the best way with this type of wood, because it is really basic and you can split the wood really easily even if you pre-drill, is just the easiest way to do a quick fix. And then here I am adding in some wood filler to the rest of the holes from the shelf pegs, and it looks great, but up close you can see a lot of the wood filler that just did not match perfectly, and I did not sand it down because this was a veneer layer on top. And then and you can also see some of that wood filler on top, but at least I did add trim to the facing shelves, just not the side shelves, and I think that that was good enough.
All right, well, it's done for now. This took all day to do. I added, is that shelf crooked? Well, it's gonna have to be good enough. So here's the deal. I couldn't take it completely apart, so we just had to work with what we had to work with. And I have 2 extra shelves in here. They're not quite as long as the other shelves. I had some extra wood, I had put some trim on it, and they had just been in the schoolroom waiting until I could, update this project. And I hope I measured well to fit all of the baskets. I was measuring and remeasuring. So now is the moment of truth. Let's see if everything fits well. Hopefully it fits well, and hopefully it's a little bit more efficient as a storage unit, because I really want all of our handwork to go here, as well as a couple of spots for some of our nature sciences, so that here we have our nature sciences and just some beautiful things on top of the shelf. And then it's a bit of a mess, but it's not bad at all. And then on this side, I want to have all of our chemistry and physics materials and astronomy. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness, let's see if it fits. Oh my goodness. All right, that fits. Let's go ahead and put the other baskets in place. This one, I think I had measured for this spot right here. Oh my gosh, that is just enough space. This one, I had measured for the space down here. Oh my goodness. Okay, that fits. I wonder if it can fit this way. Yes, okay, good. All right, this one I had measured for right next to this one. Oh, it fits as well. Let's see if this one will fit well. This one's, gosh, the yarn is kind of coming up above, so it needs a little bit of smushing down, but it fits. These ones fit here. It's a little bit tricky because those little trays are a little bit longer than the shelf itself, but I don't think it's going to tip over. It's looking pretty good so far.
I was so relieved that everything fit really well because I did measure ahead of time, but once we started constructing everything, even an inch off could have meant that my baskets wouldn't have fit, because I measured it perfectly for the baskets that we had and for the materials that we wanted to store on this bookshelf. And now I'm just adding the rest of the decorative materials on top of the bookshelf. So here's a look at what it looks like now, several months later, because a lot of the material that we had inside this bookcase is actually elsewhere, and I'm going to show it to you. So I moved all of the handwork material, well, not all of it, but much of it, I moved to under the couch. So we still have a lot of baskets here, but we also have about 5 baskets underneath the couch. These baskets fit perfectly under the couch, and I organized them according to color with some little wood round labels to mark the different colors, and they're just organized in rainbow color. So this is the red basket. I don't have a completely yellow or green basket, so this one has some assorted browns and neutrals. And then I've got 2 more baskets on the other side, and this keeps the yarn easy to get to, and it keeps it from getting dusty. Not that the yarn would have gotten dusty in the other area, but this makes it very simple and easy to get to. And now all of my yarn is in one place, and that's underneath the couch. And then back to the bookcase, I did have a couple of materials here that I kept, but I reorganized this to include more of our nature study and mineralogy and those kinds of hands-on projects, or the main lesson blocks that had a lot of hands-on projects. This lowest shelf carries the heaviest items, but it also has this little lip which makes it a little bit difficult to get that basket out. But on the other shelves, that lip doesn't obstruct the movement of the baskets because it's below the shelf itself. And then I did keep some materials here. So I have some fabric and handwork materials, and then a couple of other things for our handwork lessons. Primarily, I kept my fabric here because we are doing some sewing projects which are new this year for middle school. And here's an assortment of my quilting fabric, which I really love. I hope that you enjoyed this look at how we reconstructed an existing bookcase so that it is more functional, but most importantly, more sturdy. I hope that you'll check out the blog post that accompanies this video, where you can see more pictures and instructions on how I made this bookshelf. You can find the link to that blog post in the description box below. And if you'd like to see what we're building on a daily basis, you can find me on my website at pepperandpine.com.